Hello and happy Saturday. Welcome to Saturday night sip and draw. Let me just figure this out. Wow. So did anyone else update their Facebook? Oh, there we go. There it is. Facebook gave me the option the other day of updating, and I did update, and now it looks totally different. So now I have to like learn it, or I can just go back, I guess, to the old version. But oh, there we go. It is not the same as it was before. Okay, good. Phew. Thank you for making a comment. I was suddenly getting afraid that I couldn't see them tonight, but now I do. So hello, welcome, happy Saturday. It is cocktail sip and draw. I have my vodka tonic right here. If you were here last week, you know that's my go-to. So we're doing a cocktail. This is our second time doing one. It was kind of how Sip and Draw got started. We did a cocktail. So we're back doing another one. Cocktails, these drawings, they're something that I used to do when I don't know, I sold some, I would make prints, I would go to craft fairs and whatnot selling them. So these are kind of fun. I really like these, and I really think they're easy. They're easy to do. So even if you're a beginning artist, this is a really fun thing to do. It's fun to do if you have a friend you always get martinis with. You could draw them one. It's easy to come up with on your own how you would deconstruct the drink. So yeah, I asked for your requests. There was a lot of different requests that were given as far as what cocktail people wanted to draw tonight. And I had a really hard time deciding between three. The Moscow Mule is really cool because of the mug. You know, I mean, Moscow Mules are delicious, but as far as deconstructing the ingredients, the most exciting thing really about it is the mug because all the other ingredients are just kind of white, you know. The Bloody Mary was really tempting, but I decided on the third one because I think the third one has like the most fun ingredients and like kind of fun things you can do. Although doing a Bloody Mary and just adding all of those crazy toppings could be really fun. You know, you could put burgers and all of that stuff on top. People are doing crazy things with Bloody Marys now. So, yeah, so we're doing sangria. That is what I went with. And again, it's just fun. A sangria has a lot of different components that make it fun. The components are different colors. That makes it fun. And you can play around with it. You know, I'm drawing it based on kind of a general sangria recipe, but of course you could add things to it, take things away, play around with it however you want. In addition to that, we will be doing a trivia. So we're going to do an alcohol-based trivia. So this will work much like all of our other trivias. You will write your answers down. So I'm going to give the questions throughout the drawing. I want you to write your answers down. Please don't type them out in the group. Otherwise, you're just giving answers away. So I'll ask the questions. You write down your answers. At the very end, I will give you all of the answers, and then we'll see who our winner is. So that's been pretty fun. I've enjoyed doing that. It kind of gets you guys interacting with me a bit through the drawing. And so tonight's trivia is all about alcohol. So let me turn the light on and let's show you what we're drawing and get started. Hold on one second. I'm gonna come over here for a moment. Okay. You're not late, Mom. You haven't missed a dang thing. Just me babbling. You missed the babbling section. Most people probably wish they missed the babbling section. Okay, let's flip you around. One moment. There we go. There is our sangria. And like I said, the sangria is kind of a fun one because it has so many different components. You have your different fruits that you can add into your sangria. Your ingredients tend to be somewhat colorful. You do have some kind of clear ones. Triple sec tends to be clear. Simple syrup tends to be clear. But some of the other ones you can play around with colors on. And, you know, you can change this around too. If you always put cherries in your sangria, then put cherries. I always put apples in mine, so that's why I have an apple on here. Some people put cut up pineapple. You can play around with those. So this is just to kind of get you started, give you the general idea, and then we can go from there. I like drawing mine in what looks more like a mason jar. A lot of times, even at restaurants, when you get your sangria, it's kind of in these mason jars. So let's get going. You know, the drink word of the night is just whenever I tell you to take a damn sip. So how about that? So let's cheers, take a sip, and let's get started. I'm feeling bossy tonight, apparently. So I am going to start mine in that mason jar shape. So I'm going to do a line going across the page. I'm not sure I've ever had Aioli's sangria. In my 20s, a bunch of us girlfriends once went to try to find the best sangria in town, and it was at, oh gosh, it's now called The Porch, and now I can't think of what it was called before, but they had the best sangria, and their secret ingredient, which I put in my sangria to this day, is a tiny bit of tang. So just fun fact. So on the sides of this, I'm going to put a little bump on both sides. And then another little bump for that top edge of the mason jar. And then a line that just slightly curves out and back down. And same on this side. This one's a little less curved than this, and I actually like it better, so I'm just going to cut this a little bit. It's not much. Where is Aioli's? It sounds so familiar, and yet now I can't think of where that is. And then I'm going to connect these two with a curved line on the bottom. Erase this little exterior I did. Sometimes the hardest part of these drawings is actually getting the glass right, getting it so you like how they match up on each side. And let's give you your first trivia question of the night. Like I said, make sure to write your answers down. So since this is an ingredient inside of sangria, tell me, what is the flavor of triple sec? Like what type of fruit does it primarily taste like? So the first thing I'm going to put in my sangria, my first ingredient, is going to be red wine. So I'm going to do a line that comes, not quite, let's say maybe a third of the way up. And that doesn't have to be curved. I started to make it curved at the top, but I really don't want to. And I'm going to leave a little bit of room on both sides. So I'm just going to come down. This side the sides need to be curved because you're following the shape of the glass. And then same on the bottom. You're following that curve. Man. Having trouble with my curves tonight, and I haven't even really started drinking. And then with the ingredient inside, you can choose kind of how you want to do the font. I like doing my fonts all very different with each of the components. So I'm going to have the red wine filling this space quite large. And this is one of those things I just start doing, and I just hope that I have enough room. You can, kind of map the letters out. You can divide it up, but sometimes I think it's easier to just go for it. And what's the worst thing happens? You don't have the room, and then you erase and you start again. So I'll make my N kind of narrow, which will make my E fit. And all of the letters are actually a bit narrow, so it works. So there we go, red wine. And if you accomplished your red wine, why don't you go ahead and take a sip. Hello, Tara. Welcome to the drawing. Now, my next ingredient, I'm going to make smaller. So I want a line, again, I want space. So I'll do a straight line across, another one up the side that kind of follows that shape of the side. Same over here. And then a line that goes across the top of that. And you're not worrying too much about these lines, whether they're straight or not. Yeah, I love making sangria. Is one of my favorite things to actually take to parties, or if I'm having people over. It just tends to be one of those things that like everybody loves it. It's nice, it's refreshing. So this is going to be my space for the triple sec, and I'm just going to do kind of a simple cursive in here. Celestin's, that was the name of the restaurant that had the best sangria, but it became the Porch. And I don't know if the Porch has angria. Goodness. So there we go, triple sec. When I took my vacation a couple of weeks ago to Truckee, my husband and I decided to go by this little restaurant in Truckee. There wasn't anyone there. They had outdoor seating, and we said, let's just have one cocktail. It was like our first really bold COVID quarantine move. And, we masked up and we sat at this little table, and I ordered a sangria. It was $7, and it came in like the big mason jar, like not the small normal serving one, like the, what is it? It's like 2 quarts. It was massive. Okay, let's give you another trivia question. What booze is filtered through charcoal to make it light in color? So what booze is filtered through charcoal to make it light in color? My next ingredient in my sangria is going to be orange juice. Now, I'm going to make this, go one big space. But if you maybe like to put, maybe you put orange juice and you put pineapple juice in your sangria, you could split these 2 up and have 2 pieces and put pineapple juice in one and orange juice in the other. Tonight is like all about the wonky line for me. Hopefully when I'm in my pen, I'll have a steadier hand. Tonight my hand is all over the place. For my orange juice, I'm going to do my first letters, like bubble letters. And then the other ones I'll just have as regular printing. So there we go. There's our orange juice. And let's cheers each other. My next is going to be divided into 2. I sometimes think, though, it's easier for me anyway to draw, oh my goodness, draw this in one piece if I knew how to draw tonight. My hand is like, everything keeps going up this way. So I'll draw one. That way they end up the same size. I mean, if my lines weren't all crazy, they'd end up the same size. And then I'll divide it in the center. So I'm going to just put kind of, this is about halfway. So I'll put a line here. And then what I'll end up doing is rounding these edges out right here on each side. And then I'll erase this section in the middle. Does that make sense? And then that way those 2 parts, they look pretty even with each other. Whereas sometimes if you're trying to draw each one separately, matching them up is harder than dividing that one big space. And this one is going to be for my brandy. Some people put rum. in theirs. And again, just having the font be just slightly different from the others. And let's give you another trivia question. So your third trivia question is, what booze was used to treat stomach issues? So what alcohol did people consume to treat stomach issues? Now this space is for my simple syrup. And I'm going to write that kind of stacked on top of each other at a slight angle. A little mix of printing and cursive. I'm going to do a square. Let's put it right in the middle like I did on my original. A curved edge square right here in the center. And that's going to be for my ice. And I like doing my ice when I write it inside in these big block letters. Just like that. So just kind of, since it's 3 letters, you need to kind of divide that space up into thirds when you're doing those block letters. And then I put club soda inside of my sangria to give it a little bit of bubbles. So I'm going to draw a teardrop shape. Erase a little bit of that and fix that side. And then for the club soda, since this space is so narrow, I'm going to write it down. It also works well because it's the same amount of letters in both the words. So you can just kind of match it up. If you didn't want to write it, you could also put little bubbles all over inside of it. You can do that with a lot of things. Like if you don't want to do orange juice, you could color this like an orange, like divide it in, or you could draw an actual orange shape within the drink. And then I like apples inside of my sangria. Maybe you like to put cherries inside of yours. I always put apples because what I like about it is they don't get slimy and they are really delicious to eat afterwards, after they've been soaking in the booze. So for the apple, I'm just doing a line and then a curve, so kind of a half circle. And then I'm going to do a little edge line inside of here for the edge of that apple, for the skin. And you know, if you prefer green apples, you could make that outer edge green. Red apples red. And then I'm going to do the apple much like I did the red wine. I'm just going to kind of fill this space with the letters. The letters are going to change sizes based on the shape. Like this P is the biggest. And then it's going to get smaller. And those are all of the inside components of your sangria. Now you can have fun with what do you have on the outside. What did I draw before the apple? I drew club soda. Is that what you mean, Mom? So this is like a splash of club soda, ice, apple, brandy, simple syrup, orange juice, triple sec, wine. I actually put a little tang in mine, but I'm not going to have you guys draw tang. Oh, look at all that smudging I did. So again, now you can kind of have fun with what you have on the top of yours. Maybe you do like a fancy umbrella. Maybe you put fruit on the top, cherries, another apple slice, or your citrus. I'm going to go with citrus, but you know, you could have a lot of fun with that. You could add a lot of background in here. I know when we did the pina colada, we had a lot of people who added a bunch of like beachy scenes in the back. So I'm just going to do a lime, a lemon, and an orange. So I'm going to start with the outside edge. So 2 pieces of my fruit are going to wrap around the edges. So I'm just going to start drawing a circle. And then I'll do the same on this side. Trying to make those about the same size. Limes are a little bit smaller, but just for drawing purposes, I kind of want them to match up a bit. In fact, this one came out a little bit bigger, so I'm going to make this one the lemon. My other one will be the lime. And then my orange is just going to go right in the middle. And it will just be a curved line that connects the 2 shapes, just like that. Oh, Grand Marnier instead of brandy. A lot of people put their own little ingredients in. A lot of people do Grand Marnier instead of triple sec. Okay, next trivia question. Give me the drink name. We'll see if anybody knows this. What is the name of the drink that combines Guinness with champagne? If you put Guinness and champagne together, what is that drink called? Now, when I do my lemon, my orange, and my lime, I'm not going to actually draw the rind in like I did on the apple. I'm going to do it just in color. Instead of having that outline of it, I'm going to do it with my actual pencils. I'm just going to write the names in here. So I'll put, yuck. So I'll put lemon. And I'm going to do these in cursive, and I'm going to make them all look the same since they're all citrus. Lemon. Lime. And then in the middle, my orange. I know I've never actually had this drink. I'd be willing to try it once. I'll try most any cocktails at least one time. And so now I am ready for my pen. And boy, oh boy, let's hope that my pen lines are smoother than my pencil were. Rip this out. So how's everybody doing tonight? You guys are quiet tonight. What's everybody drinking this evening? Is anyone drinking sangria? Trader Joe's makes a good box sangria that I like to get and then add stuff into it. Embrace the wonk, right? I'm going to have to tonight. Uh-oh, Robin, you better hurry. My first sip of draw in a long time finally got the husband to put the kiddos to bed. Well, welcome. Glad you came back. Ooh, bourbon, wine here. Ooh, Marion Blackberry Margarita. Yummy. Oh, yes, the shirts. So I've had some questions about the shirts because I did get my, I got my hot dog shaped shirt, like, what was it? I don't know, Wednesday maybe? Shirts were supposed to be, like, they were expected next week. And that hot dog shirt, for whatever reason, shipped very, very fast. But I also ordered the other one, the one that's just more like a cursive print with the pencil guy. And mine has not arrived yet. And I think that shirts are actually really due to arrive this coming up week. So if you ordered shirts and you haven't received your shirts yet, don't panic. Like, they actually weren't really due to arrive at people's homes until next week. I just got that one very early. And some people may have, like, they print in batches. But more people ordered also the one that hasn't arrived. And I think they print them all and then they ship them all at the same day. And then, yes, on top of that, right now, UPS and USPS both are absolutely slammed. So shipping is taking longer than it even was at the start of quarantine. A hibiscus Moscow mule. I'm going to need the recipe for that. I've never done anything with hibiscus in it. Oh, I guess I've used a hibiscus ginger beer before. So maybe I have. Is that how you made yours, with a hibiscus ginger beer? And if you didn't order shirts and you still want them, you can still order them. If you go to drawwithstacy.com, there's a link on there for the shirts. And then we will be working on adding some other items available for order, and probably at least one more design. Yours was due to arrive yesterday, came to Oakland. Yeah, I had a package that that took forever to get to me, and I kept tracking it, and it would say it was coming that day, and then it wouldn't come. And then the next day it would say, oh, sorry for the delay, it's coming today, and then it wouldn't come. It drove me mad. But I laugh because, I had to order shirts just like you guys. Like, I didn't get any special privileges or special pricing or anything like that. My shirts were ordered just like yours were. I paid the same amount as you guys did, and I got mine already. I don't know if anybody else has received any yet because I haven't seen anyone say they have. I haven't seen anyone post any pictures. And that's really the only way I would know that you got them. All right, it's going better for me in pen. And I do think there's a way you can track it to see if it is shipped. But again, I don't know that I trust that it has shipped, but I don't trust when it says it will arrive as far as the UPS or USPS, mine came USPS. Mine was in my mailbox. Okay, let's give you another question. So, whiskey. There are two different spellings of whiskey. There's WHISKEY, or there's WHISKY. What's the difference? Tell me the difference between whiskey with an E and whiskey without an E. Next week, the drawing schedule will be the same as far as during the week goes. Monday live, Tuesday nothing, Wednesday live, Friday pre-recorded. And the next Saturday Sip and Draw is going to be pre-recorded as well. So I will not be home next Saturday. So I will be posting a video. I'm probably going to post it Saturday afternoon. I don't think I'm going to make you wait till 8 o'clock, and then you can just do it, whenever you want. But Saturday, a Sip and Draw video will post in full. It'll be a link to the video on YouTube. Okay, so how do I come up with the trivia questions? Some of them I know. I just sit and I just come up with them. Some of them I Google. I try to do always 10 questions. So, if I only know 5, then I kind of browse around online. Don't browse around online for the answers, though. I do a little bit of both. Of course, last week was trivia about me. I came up with those on my own. Google didn't help me out that time. It was all me. And I will tell you the answer. Yeah. I'll tell you the answer today. And then next week in the pre-recorded Sip and Draw next week, there might not be a trivia just because I don't know how to don't know exactly how I would manage that since I wouldn't be able to see unless you just left a comment with how many you got right. But I might just save the trivias for the live videos. Whiskey is whiskey light because it's missing a letter. Well, I'm Stacy with an E, and most people don't have an E, so it's because I'm extra. I'm a little bit more extra than those Stacys who don't have any E. And what's funny is I named my dog Whiskey. I had no idea originally that there was a difference, and I named my dog Whiskey without the E, and everybody writes it with the E. So I did like the reverse of my own name. So I was Stacy Light, don't I wish. The t-shirt company has a notice on the site that says some orders are experiencing delays. Thank you for your patience. Oh, awesome. Thanks, Dwayne. So yeah, see, that's kind of next week, which was like what I thought. Let's get all of these pencil marks off. I was even wearing my shirt earlier. I washed it and it washed very well. I was very pleased. I was kind of like testing everything out. All right, there we go. Now, another fun thing with these drawings that I really enjoy is the little saying. So I wrote sunglasses and sangria on the other one. You can choose to write something, some little saying about sangria, or you could just leave it. You don't have to. You could just have this. Or again, like maybe you have more of a background, so this would mess up your background. It did not shrink. My shirts didn't shrink at all. I don't wash anything in hot though, so I didn't try that. But I didn't have any issues with it. So I'm going to start up here with my citrus, and I'll show you what I'm going to do inside each of them. I'm going to start first by just coloring this area in a little bit on the lighter side. I did put it in the dryer. Yep. On low heat. So I wash most everything. I don't know. My washer has like cold, cool, warm, and hot. I wash most everything on cool, like one step up from cold. I don't know what the difference is. It just feels a little bit warmer. And then I dry everything on like low heat. So, but I had no shrinkage. Didn't shrink, and didn't the print didn't change. Nothing changed. It looks exactly as it did before. So now on my lemon, on this outer edge of my lemon, I'm going to darken right along the edge, right along the edge line, as if I'm seeing rind, which you can't really see that, I'm sure, on camera, but I'll zoom in and show you in just a second. So I'm coming right along that edge. And then I'm going to do some lines, you know, like the citrus lines, the kind of wedge lines in the pieces. And they're all kind of going towards the middle. And there, see that? Now you can see it. And I'm going to do that on all. I'm going to do that on my orange and on my lime. So let's get an orange color. And let's give you another trivia question. What is often considered the official drink of the U.S.? What is often considered the official drink of the U.S.? I don't like that color. It's a little too light. I want something a little bit darker. A little bit more orange. Next to that lemon, it was too close. They wouldn't have looked very different from each other. Thank you, everyone who did the suggested donation. We've started doing a $5 suggested donation for attending the Sip and Draws, which will hopefully allow me to keep the kids' draws during the week free. I'm not keeping track. I'm just kind of roughly basing it on, you know, how many people I see and how much comes in. A lot of you did more than the $5. So, you know, if you're like paying it forward for other weeks, if it's easier for you to do that, you can do that. Again, I'm not like going to keep track. I'm not going to like call people out. I don't have a way to do that. And I don't have it's not my style. So thank you for those of you that did. If you didn't, but you can this week, then that would be great. Oh, man. I lost sound. That's bizarre. I'm still talking. Oh, no. She lost sound. Okay. Whew. Freaking me out there. I didn't see that you were replying. So everyone else can hear me, right? Sorry, Mom. Okay, your next trivia question is kind of a funny one. This is definitely a Google. And, if you don't know the answer to this, please don't Google it. Just guess, because I think this is one of the ones that's going to be kind of funny to see what people guess. I'm going to assume most don't know this. I didn't know it. notice it for sure. Written in the droplet is club soda. See? Club soda. Okay, so your trivia question is, Matthew McConaughey has a nephew that is named after a beer. What is his nephew's name? Like, how much more, I don't know. Would it be how much more like American redneck can you be to be named after a beer? It makes me laugh. I mean, that's Texas, right? And my family's from Texas, so don't call me out on being mean to the Texas redneck. I love me some Texans. And remember, write your answers down. His nephew is extra, having a name after a beer. It can't be Corona. God, I hope not. And cheers. Let's everybody take a sip, take a little break. We only have 3 more trivia questions. So for my apple, I'm going to make my apple red. I'm going to color this outer edge really dark red. And then I'm going to color the actual flesh actually more peach, because really, your inside of your apple is more of a skin tone. Let me get a blue for my ice. And for my ice, I like coloring the letters in really dark and then doing the rest lighter. Oh. It's technical difficulties night. I just know this pencil's gonna break. I can feel it. Yep. Pretty soon we're gonna have to just start drinking every time I have to sharpen a pencil. I'm finding in this heat, my cheaper pencils, the lead falls out. Like I sharpen it, and then as I'm coloring, it just starts doing it again. It starts to bend, pops out. I just think, even though, my house is air conditioned, still have wood on the point. So when it's still, you mean when it still has like some, what do you mean by wood on the point? Really, whether I'm sharpening it and it's completely dull, like it's just wood exposed, or I'm sharpening it when it looks like, let's say this, to give it more of a sharpened edge. It's all the same for me. My eraser just sharpens it. So I guess the answer is it's not, none of them are really different. Of course, if it's completely broken and there's no color visible, I have to sharpen it longer. It takes a little bit more to sharpen it than the ones that I just need to, you know, give a little bit of a sharper point to. Those are usually just a pretty quick sharpen, if that's what you mean. If you mean something different, then just let me know. And then for my club soda, I'm also going to do this, a blue, but it's a much lighter blue. Just because I don't want to have a bunch of things that are just white, even though typically club soda, you know, it doesn't really have a color to it. It has wood instead of lead on it. So, okay. Do you mean like this? Or do you mean like this? Are you asking about how to sharpen the top or the bottom? Because I would say I sharpen them exactly the same, but this one is going to take longer because it's going to get to this stage first, and then it's going to get more sharp, where this one, I just need 2 little quick turns and it'll be sharp. And I started using just this Up and Up brand, Target. It only uses this one hole because this is like for huge pencils. But my other sharpener, my fancier one, it had 3. It had your really big fat pencils, and then it had these 2. And one was for really sharp pencils and one was for a little bit less sharp. I tended to use the little bit less sharp on all of my pencils because I didn't want that like super pointy end. My brandy, I'm going to do kind of a reddish brown. Do we have any newbies tonight? People who've never drawn before? We had some new, every week we have some new people who join, so I'm always curious. That's not a bad idea, sharpening both ends. Simple syrup, I'm just going to leave white. I could, you know, color it in white. All it's going to do is fade the lettering a little bit. You won't really see the white show up, but you can do that if you like. And then my orange juice, I'm going to color the O and the J darker. And then I'll color the square itself lighter. I guess it's really more of a rectangle. All right, let's give you another trivia question. So your next trivia question is, what year did the very first cocktail party happen? So it was actually, you know, people may have gathered at things and had drinks, but what year did someone throw something that they called a cocktail party? It was just an hour or 2 long, and they just served drinks and socialized. It's like what Sip and Draw is, right? It's like one big giant virtual cocktail party, especially tonight because we're drawing cocktails. What year did the first cocktail party take place? Now my triple sec, I'm going to also leave white. And then my wine, I'm going to color with Bordeaux red. Kind of a purpley red wine shade. And I am going to do a little blender pencil within this drawing tonight. Help blend out some of the white, change the direction, or fix the directional changes. Like I just colored up and down and then across because it's easier to get the space. But I don't like when you can see the directional shift in a coloring. And that blender pencil will help me. So I'm going to assume we have no newbies tonight. When you're done with your drawing tonight, make sure you upload it to the group. We've had a lot more of that happening lately. It's not as much as it was at the start. But it's definitely happening more. I'm also seeing a lot of you draw even on the days I'm taking off. You're like going back and catching up, doing some of the past videos, which I love. I even saw someone, I think, post the bear the other day, and that was really early on. So, you know, if you go back and you draw something that is already up there and it's been a while since we've drawn it and you're just finally getting around to it, don't be shy. Upload your art. All about sharing the art in here. So I'm just coming through with this blender pencil, kind of blending out some of the white that was created. And by blending it, it actually lets me see the letters a little bit better. With a blender pencil, it doesn't really matter what direction you're going. You can change direction constantly, go up and down, go left to right. You're not going to see that. And then just remember, when you're using a blender pencil, always blow your paper off instead of swiping. Because when you do use a blender pencil, you're actually extracting some of the pigment off of the paper, and you'll smudge on your paper. It's very easy to erase. I use Prismacolor. So these are Prismacolor Premier colorless pencils. They sell them on Amazon in like a 3-pack, I think. And then I'm going to do a different color. So I'm cleaning that tip off because that tip had all of this Bordeaux color on it. So now I'll come up into my orange. I don't know what the drawing will be yet next Sunday. How do you keep eraser marks off the paper when I am coloring? You can see the marks I erased earlier. Okay. So that is all, you mean your pencil marks? Like you can see the indentation? Is that what you mean? If so, you need to push lighter. So when I'm drawing for you guys, I push very hard with the pencil because that's the only way for it to really show up on video. But when I'm just drawing, like if I'm pre-drawing, I do not push as hard. I make a mark just light enough that I can see it when I'm doing my pen, but not light enough that or not dark enough that it would show up on video. So if you're getting like indentation in your paper, then you need to push lighter. And I will tell you that comes with time, because people who are new at drawing, they tend to hold everything super tight and they tend to push really hard. It's like a stress thing. You take out all your aggression on your poor pencils. So if you just do a little bit less pressure, you will not see it. And then also with the blender pencil, you can actually blend, like I get some lines because again, I'm pushing harder for you guys. So I had some line in here where I didn't go right over the top, but with the blender pencil, it ends up filling it in. So the blender pencil will help you erase that out. But yeah, the only way, I mean, there's no other way. The only way would be to push lighter. So again, blender pencil will help you hide some of that. But the only true way is to just push lighter with your pencil. And yes, try these erasers. So if you haven't purchased the Prismacolor erasers, however, if you're pushing hard with your pencil, even using a good eraser, you're going to see those indentation lines because that's just you pushing hard on the paper. Also, another thing is make sure if you're drawing, okay, so I was originally drawing this drawing in my notebook and then I ripped it out. I'm going to end up, if I'm pushing too hard, I'm going to end up pushing indentation lines into the page behind it. So sometimes also taking it out of the notebook will help. But yeah, I mean, if you're doing, Lisa, if you're doing the blender pencil and you're doing the erasers, your only way around that is it's all your pressure. It's how hard you're pushing with the pencil when you pre-draw. There's not really any other, you're doing all the other tricks. Okay, next trivia question. There is a saying that goes, mind your P's and Q's. And that saying came from the bar scene. Where did, you can get 2 points here. Where did it start? What country? Mind your P's and Q's. And what does it mean? So 2 points possible on this. You get a bonus point if you get both. Mind your P's and Q's Don't answer in the group. You have to write it down. You're giving everyone else the answer. We'll give the answers at the end. So you get another point if you tell me by writing it down where that was said. Where does it originate? And it's okay. It's not the first time it's ever happened. Trust me, it happens every single drawing. Every single live draw we do, someone gets really excited and starts calling out the answers. Maybe it's because at this point everyone's had a couple cocktails, had a couple sips. So, okay, I'm done with my drawing. And now I'm just going to come in and color the glass. And I'm just doing it a very pale gray. In our house, it meant look out, you're right on the edge of being spanked. And I'm going to do once I get this colored in, kind of a light pale gray, which of course, again, you could do a different color if you want your glass. Some people don't do any color at all in this point. I like to have a little bit of color in the glass. And I'll do one more little detail. Last trivia question. Write it down. What is the national drink of Mexico? So last trivia question. What is the national drink of Mexico? So at this point, you should have all your answers down. We had 10 questions. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, 10 questions. One that had a bonus. And I'll give you the answers in just a second. So now that I've colored all of this gray in, this glass, I'm going to put a little bit of an accent line that goes across, because you know on the mason jars you would see that like screw top edge. Every time your pencil chop eraser. Yeah, they always break. Those, you know, I know what you're talking about. The kind that go on here and then that little pointy part breaks off and you just end up with that ring. It's maddening. It drives me crazy. Because I do like, as much as I love these erasers for when I need to erase the whole thing, when I'm doing a drawing and I just need to do a little bit of erasing here and there, I use the tip of the pencil. But I draw so much that, you know, here, I'll show you. Here's my pencils, guys. What do you notice? There are no erasers because I use them all. I wear them all down. Okay, a little bit of that. I'll add a little saying here in a second, but let's give you the answers to the trivia questions. So keep track of your score, and at the end, we'll see who has the most. So what flavor is triple sec? I'm just going to give you answers until we get to the Matthew McConaughey one, and then I want to see what answers you have for that. So triple sec is orange. It's an orange flavor. Orange should be your answer. Question 2 was, what booze is filtered through charcoal to make it light in color? That answer is rum. Rum, light rum is filtered with charcoal to make it light. Third, what booze is used to treat stomach issues? Gin, that is your answer. Gin was used to treat stomach issues. What drink is Guinness and champagne combined together? The answer is not gross. It is actually called black velvet. So Guinness and champagne together is black velvet. What's the difference between whiskey with an E and whiskey without? Whiskey with an E tends to be Irish or American whiskey. Whiskey without is Scotch from Scotland. What is often considered the official drink of the U.S.? It was actually the first one ever to be called the official drink of the U.S., and that is bourbon. Bourbon is deemed the official drink of the United States. And now, Matthew McConaughey has a nephew named after what beer? What is his nephew's name? Please type your answers because I'm curious to see what you guys put. Yes, you'll be a booze whiz by the end of this. Bud Light, Bud, he was a little wiser. Samuel, Modelo. No one has it right yet. Oh, Anna, you're so close. He had a middle name too, Anna. You get a half a point if you didn't get the whole thing. Or you get a point. You did great. Matthew McConaughey's nephew is named Miller Lite. So his first name is Miller and his middle name is Light. Miller Lite. I thought that was pretty funny. Miller Lite. All right. What year was the first cocktail party? It was 1917. The first cocktail party was in 1917. Mind Your P's and Q's came from England, and it was pints and quarts. So mind your pints and quarts. And the national cocktail of Mexico, one might think is a margarita, but one would be wrong. It is a paloma. So you had a possible 11 points with the bonus, P's and Q's, which you all should have gotten pints and quarts, thanks to Catherine. But what if you got England, you get another point. So did anyone get 11? Did anyone get 11 total points, meaning you got all of them right, including the bonus? I got 2. Did anyone get 10 or 9? Or why don't you guys just start saying how many you got right? So far Judy is in the lead with 4. Did anyone get more than 4? Lori also got 4. Anyone get more than 4? Is 4 our highest score? Anyone? Anyone? Well, I guess then that we have a tie between Judy and Lori. So you both will get something. So I will send you a message after we're done, and you'll both get something because I don't want to make one of you. We don't have to have a great showdown. So there we go. There is our sangria. I did my little sipping sangria down at the bottom. And that completes our cocktail night. Let me kill my super bright light and flip you around. So congrats to our winners. Thank you everyone for playing along. I really love adding the trivia component in. And now, you know, you're all a little wiser as far as booze, but we've had trivia on flowers, so we all should know so much more by now. Like any of us remember this when we wake up tomorrow. But hey, you'll remember, I bet you remember Matthew McConaughey's nephew's name. You can tell all your friends. Next week, the Saturday Sip and Draw will not be live. It will be a pre-recorded drawing. I will not be around. I do not know what we're drawing yet, but I will tell you that next week's theme is the 80s. So during the week with the kids, it's the 80s, and then the Sip and Draw will also be something to do with the 80s. So yeah, have fun with that. And make sure that you post your drawings to the group. I like to see them. You can put them directly on the group page, or you can upload them into an album. You can also tag me on Instagram with yours. We will be back. I always say we, me and my pencils. Right, the kids will have no idea, but actually they might. Like some of the things, like we drew Garfield, some kids knew what that was, which I consider that to be 80s. Some of the things that we're drawing, they will know. Yes, we will probably do something fun in the Sip and Draw, even though it's not live. I still think we're going to have some sort of contest, so it will be announced during the video. Facebook is weird about contests, so we just sneak them into the videos. But that's all. Donations can be made. I'll pop a link up so you know where to do that. Again, recommending $5 suggested for attending the Sip and Draw. And thank you so much. I had a blast, like always. And I'll see you guys. Have a good Sunday. Happy drawing.